All right.
Julian's not going to talk about Palestine.
Why you waited until I started? I hate you. Ah, yes. That demographic of Pokemon videos talking about Palestine. Thanks, Carlos.
Yeah, where we really got to there.
So I do want to fill you in on one thing. So in between videos, when I had some downtime, I went and caught a bunch of Pokemon. Because the ones we were using... so we have two Pokemon that we're trying to use. We have the ones that I traded over, but they got too powerful, and the game is like, you can't use those, you fucking cheater. And caps them out at level 30. Or they'll just stop listening to me. So, to make up for that... Where did I put them? Oh, they're all over here. Okay. To make up for that, I went out and caught some backup Pokemon, essentially. So we're going to be running with a couple different teams here.
Okay. Wait. Is that computer called Bebe's PC?
Yeah, so it's called...
Like Bebe's Kids?
No, it's... So in the first generation, Bill was the one who created it. It was called Bill's PC. And then they just kind of has like a running thing. Every new generation, they call it someone else's.
Oh. All with B?
No.
Oh. I thought maybe they're moving like Ned Bigby.
That's a fair guess. You specifically were like... So we haven't recorded in a little bit. Or we had a bad recording streak. We did record last week, I think. But then you were like, I need to record today. I was like, okay. And then...
No, I just need to talk to...
You were like, I need to talk to someone other than my coworkers. Is essentially what it came down to.
This month has been hell for me at this job. They're trying to break my spirit. They're trying to break my soul like Beyonce said.
I think they've been trying to do that for a while. Just anecdotally. And I think they've been winning.
They got me beat. Yesterday I was about to just quit right on the phone with the guy.
Real quick, so this is our new team. We got Maz. I named some of them after people that you would somewhat recognize. So we have Maz.
Who's that?
Some guy, I don't know.
He's crushed. He's gonna be crushed. He's gonna be fighting through it on Twitter.
We have John.
You should have named it Toilet.
We have Spencer. Also should have named it Toilet, but for a different reason. We have Geodude, which is just his real name. I didn't get a chance to name him.
I thought you were about to say Geodude, Mark, and I was like, what?
He's from the original team. And then we have a Ghastly, same original team, and then Climate Change. I was grinding, trying to catch new Pokemon with my girlfriend, and she was like, do you want to explain why he's named Climate Change? And I was like, I don't think I need to explain. If you don't know, then, I can't help you. And then I finally told her it was Carlos, and then she was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So that's what we got going on.
Your girlfriend has such a weird perspective of me.
Like, more than anyone in this world, has such a back and forth perspective on you. Like a metronome of going back and forth. Because you could not have given a worse first impression.
I think it's not only that, but also I'm on my worst behavior with you.
You are.
Like, she's meeting me at like my absolute base of I'm not filtering anything. I'm not thinking through anything. I'm just Carlos.
Might I also
Juliana's
add
friends all met me on
that when you introduced me to Juliana, I was on my best behavior. So this is not like... Oh, okay, well, actually, wait. No, hold on. I just remembered, and I retract that statement. I think I may have been wrong.
Yeah, I'm glad you came to your senses.
For those, you know what, I'll just say it. About 10 minutes into meeting Juliana, we were in the car on our way somewhere, and and I forget how it came up. Do you remember the exact conversation? Because I only remember bits and pieces of it.
I only remember the punchline.
Okay, yeah, I remember the punchline. I think we were talking about, because it was like early spring or something, we were talking about camping. And I was like, oh, yeah,
summer camp.
And I was like, yeah, I used to be in the Boy Scouts and stuff like that. Because I was. That's real. I enjoyed my time in the Boy Scouts, but I never want to camp again because I've done enough. But we were talking about that, and she was like, "Oh wow, that's crazy. I've never met someone who's in the Boy Scouts and stuff like that." And it was, you hear all those like bad rumors. Like, yeah, I try not to remember that stuff. To which
No, that's not that. No. She was like, "Oh wow, you never really hear that." And then you said, "Yeah, you don't really hear that anymore with all the bad rumors and stuff." And she's just like, "Art, what rumors?" And then that's when you were like,
yeah. And then that's when I was like, I don't really like to talk about it anymore. And I said it just like that. And like there was like a maybe like 2-second pause, and Carlos was like, "No, you can't just hang that there. She doesn't know you. You have to." I thought it was really funny.
I thought it was hilarious. She never said it wasn't.
But you had to be like, "You cannot do this on the first time meeting my girlfriend." And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine."
Like, I didn't want it to be like she sits with it, right, silently, and then she's like,
which is exactly what I
like
did want it to be.
After I drop you off, she's like, "Okay, what happened?"
Yeah,
I don't fucking know.
I wanted it to be a case of she kind of like doesn't talk about it, but then she like brings it up later, and you're like, "No, he made that up." And she's like, "What?" But
it was also during like the Me Too time. I would have sounded like such an asshole.
I think I've told.
Yeah, I don't believe that nigga.
Yeah, actually, you would have sounded so bad. But I think we've already brought up in this series my girlfriend's introduction to you, which is you just absolutely belting the N-word during Monopoly playthrough, and she did not realize that you were of the darker variety, and thought you were just one of my white friends just screaming the N-word.
Wow.
And so she was just like, "This asshole! I cannot believe you're friends with him." I was like, "No! He can do it. He's allowed to." Like,
one of us really, it's like double insulting because one, she's like, "Oh, you got friends that say the N word. I'm so fuck with you, but I'm gonna judge you for having that friend." And then secondly, it's like, how can you not tell him a nigga? You know, you can hear that it is comfortable in my tongue, and I'm not. Granted, unless she catches me on one of those ones where I really lay into black people, like,
I'm gonna love with you, Carlos. That's probably happened in the Monopoly video. That tends to be your like immediate go-to of a lot of just. I
do become a Republican in those videos.
It's just very funny. Oh shit! What do you think he's gonna look like when he evolves?
You look like that brolic light-skinned black dude who goes to the gym.
What? What?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
he doesn't gain legs. Oh no!
Let's see if this is true. I think I know what happened here, but I'm still gonna just let you roll with it. Is this what you?
No.
Is this what you were describing?
No, that's someone's uncle.
What do you mean? Whose uncle do you know has 4 arms?
Not 4 arms, but the shape of the like a short light skinned dude. That's many people's uncle. Who's round, rotund.
You confuse me a lot. I don't really know what to do with you.
2 Americas.
I think there's more than 2 at this point. What was I gonna say though? Yeah, it's been a while. We've had some busy fucking weeks. So I've been
slammed.
Yeah, I've been on vacation this week, and the amount of times that I've seen an advertisement or a tweet for the exact job that I'm on vacation from, like, just seeing updates, and I'm just like, I don't want these updates until Monday. Can I not hear about this? Like, there's nothing I can do. Like, I don't want to be here. The amount of times, like, I hate that it's in my fucking algorithm. Because I'm like, no, I don't want to hear about it. This is my break. And for the same, I get like the same reason where I'll have like people be like, "Oh, have you played?" We'll pretend it's a game. I don't know. We'll pretend it's a fake game. Let's pretend it's like a game that like it has nothing to do with. So they'll be like, "Have you played the new Super Smash Bros. Game? The new Super Smash Bros. Clone?" I'll be like, "No," because I work on it 50 fucking hours a week. Like, no, I haven't played it. It's the last thing I want to do in my free time.
You did a great job on PlayStation All Stars.
Yeah,
you did a phenomenal time.
You know what's funny about that game?
It should have gotten refined.
Well, so that's the thing is like now that like people are like further away from it, there's been like a lot more like sentiment of like, we might have been too harsh, like because everyone's just like it's not Smash, and the devs were like, yeah, that's the point. Like we don't want it to be Smash, and people now are like, they actually had some really good ideas and some good implementations. It may have been a little too soon for us all to judge. Like, there's like a significant amount of people who are like trying to get them to revive that series. And I think they should, but I think they shouldn't fuck up the fucking rights this time. Like, there were so many characters that should have been in that series that just weren't.
As well as, it's weird to me, no, there weren't that many DLC characters.
There were a couple.
Yeah, but I wasn't like, how you gonna make a PlayStation icons and Solid Snake's not there?
Well, Solid Snake couldn't, I think, because he was already licensed to Nintendo at that point. He was in Smash by the time that game came out.
That's also one of the craziest acquisitions that Smash ever did.
Oh, for sure. There's some that I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like when they got Banjo-Kazooie, it's like, yeah, all right,
Yeah,
I can see that. It's like, you know, or like Mega Man or Pac-Man. I'm like, sure, they're not really doing much with those at this point. But Solid Snake, pre Metal Gear Solid 5, like, how the fuck?
Like, I would love to, like, what was it? Also, like, who came up with it? Like, all right, iconic game characters. We can get Mega Man, yeah. Solid Snake, okay, yeah. Oh, what? Like, what?
It's like, wait, huh? That's literally the alert, like the ding, what? Like, from what I've heard, it's Sakurai who's like the head dev. Like, isn't like a fighting game like expert. He like plays other games too, which is why he was like so set on trying to get Sora into Smash, because he was like, yeah, I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan. Like, it's like, oh, I guess that makes sense.
Oh man, I haven't played video games at all this week. Like, I don't want to say like I'm addicted, but like, nah. If you go in a week without video games, feels like I've lost so much of myself.
Do you know what's fun about that though? Is that when you do eventually go back to video games, it's gonna feel like all the like minor stuff that you're kind of like that before you were like, oh, this game isn't really in like 60 FPS or oh, this and that. You're gonna go back to playing it. You're gonna be like, dog, I don't care. This is just great. I'm just happy to be back. Like,
honestly, video games make me understand. Like,
gonna be the best time to get back into Valhalla.
Honestly, I was literally, I'm like, dog, I just want to not be here.
You're gonna turn your goddamn brain off. Oh, what do you think this one's gonna turn into?
It doesn't he become like he grows legs. He looks like a what's that fucking multiplication card in Yu-Gi-Oh that he does with Kuribo?
Oh,
yeah, he gonna look like a little like a purple Kuribo. Oh no.
No, but he's great at fucking.
He doesn't have legs.
He's great at eating puss now, though.
Yeah. Yeah, remember when I sent you a pussy this week?
That was yesterday, or that was 2 days ago.
Oh my god, man.
So I was recording when you sent that, and I like described it as I was doing it, or I was like, I told him I'm recording, and he can send it in like an hour, unless he wants me to react on video. And I was like, I know that for a fact that if I give him that option, he's gonna send it immediately. And then you did. So I was like, yeah, that tracks.
She look like Homer Simpson's mouth.
You gotta stop.
I told it to Juliana because I was telling her, I'm like, oh yeah, my whole timeline.
Have you ever?
Like,
wait, hold on. I gotta stop you for a second. Have you ever seen that like infamous picture where someone like did like face paint, but like on their mound, so to speak, to make it look like Homer Simpson? I've seen that picture for like 15 years ago, so like I know it exists. Just a soft yeah, I have.
She had not seen that.
Oh, what'd she think of it?
She was amazed, but also like, why am I? She's like, why are you looking at that? And I'm like,
and you were like, that's not what we're talking about right now. Like,
no, but also I was telling them, I'm like, that's not how Twitter works. I follow messy, horrible people who constantly retweet bizarre things into my timeline. And that's like the fun part about Twitter. That's like the only good thing about Twitter is finding out that someone's having a worse day than you.
I follow a lot of cat accounts now because that's where I am in my life. But I follow those, and Digimon has been showing a lot of stuff in my algorithm because of the new game just came out. But what always seems to break, or what seems to be a constant, is not you. You'd think you would be a constant because of how often we share these things. But no. Do you know what I see more than probably at least once or twice a day at the most inappropriate times possible?
Oh, I feel like doesn't Spencer be wilding in his retweets?
Skullcat has liked this very, very NSFW picture of someone. I'm like, why is this in my timeline? And I brought that up to him, and he was like, you know, I got a healthy appreciation. I was like, what?
He's bold. He a bold man. He's bold.
He technically has 2 accounts. He has his own, and then he has Skullcap. And I'm like, still, dude, you run like a Twitch channel. Like, what? Like,
nah, I don't be.
He's horny on main.
I don't retweet or like something on me. That's wild to me. That to me, I'm always just like, I always think of like, if God forbid someone takes a screenshot and sends my tweets to like Juliana of like everything I retweeted, liked, and whatnot, and she's gonna be like, why is this woman's titties on your timeline?
I'm like afraid to even open NSFW links on Twitter because I'm like, I don't want to like accidentally engage with this and like fuck up my algorithm or let someone be like, Nick's out here liking tit pics. Like what? Like, I'm like, no.
Oh, God forbid you got a fat finger on a titty pic.
You need like a second account, and I'm like, I just don't. So
now people who are horny on main are bravers than the Marines, man.
All right, what do you think this is gonna look like?
He gonna get it a second head.
Bum 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 bum. You were close.
Oh fuck.
It's literally just 3 of them.
Magneton. Also, how scary would some of these Pokemon be to see in the fucking wild? Imagine seeing that shit. You're like, what the fuck is that? I mean, Pikachu would probably be cute as fuck.
Pikachu has like the power of a power plant at his fingertips.
I'm not saying, but this is true. Imagine that. You scare a fucking Pikachu and you're walking home and you scare fucking
you just die. You get killed. It's like, oh shit, I accidentally stepped on one's tail when I was walking home from work and now I'm dead.
My dog's scared and now we're all dead.
Well, there's no dog, so it would be another Pokemon.
Oh yeah. True.
Or like imagine this. Look at all this water.
Shoot out electricity.
Well, look at it. This is a water gym. Look at all this water. Imagine if an electric, like a stray bolt hits, and like all of a sudden everyone in the gym is electrocuted. Like,
honestly, now you can't go home.
All right, this is the 4th gym. We're gonna fight a BDSM master.
Yeah, like what? He got his titties out. No, but back to people who retweet horny on me. I'm always just like, you want your friends to know what turns you on. That's what's wild to me.
Yeah,
like,
that's like, I don't even want, like, whenever I have a friend who's like, oh yeah, I saw you post that video on YouTube and I watched it. I was like, oh ew, why? Don't know. That's like that's between me and thousands of strangers. Okay, that's it. Don't you come over here like.
Also, one of the dumbest things that happens is sometimes when I'm tweeting and people who I like, Mods is different because at this point I tweet at me and Mods have tweet all the time at each other. You're a bit different, but when someone like I faintly know in real life tweets at me, I'm like, you can see these tweets. You've been following me for years. You can see these tweets.
I try to harass you on Twitter occasionally. Not harass, but just make a comment or something, just to know that like, hey, I'm watching this. By the way, I can also see this in my feed. Like,
I'm in this space, nigga. You are tweeting about soccer way too much.
My tolerance for you tweeting about soccer is so much higher now too, because I'm just like, at first I was like, Jesus Christ, but then like now I'm like, oh, it must be Sunday. Like it's.
I really be tweeting about soccer all the time. Like it's literally, I think about it so much. And Juliana gets so, like when other niggas are thinking about work, I'm thinking about soccer. I don't get paid a dime for this soccer team, but I'm out here stressing about that shit. My job, fuck my job.
We've talked about this. I do not understand how you could like get this into a sports team. Like I get it in the moment. Like I get like the little moments here and there of like you get excited during a match or something, but to like get this in, you're in the fucking management. I'm like, if a player fucking queefs then you're like, I don't know if this is gonna affect his performance next week. Like, I'm like, what the fuck, Carlos? You're way too deep. Like,
Nah. The worst about genre of my tweets is when I start projecting onto what their personalities and their strengths are. Like, there's this one manager, this one coach of a soccer team who I'm literally like, that nigga ain't got people skills. She's gonna constantly fail.
That's what I mean.
People,
that's too deep.
I don't know this man. I've never spoken to him.
You need the introspection to look at it and be like, I think I need to step away. Like,
nah, I know I'm deep in that narcotic. Because they were about to sign a racist soccer player, and I was literally like, I don't know if I'm gonna give it up. I don't know.
You were like, I don't think this is a deal breaker, and that's problematic. Like,
yeah, I was literally I'm like, wow, I'm really gonna do this for my soccer team, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that shit.
All right, so I can either curse this dude, but I think if I curse him, I'll die. But he'll get like a big like kind of poison type effect, where I'll take damage each turn. It's like big damage, and he'll eventually die from it. But if he go like, I could also like, if I die, then Haunter doesn't get any experience, so that's not great either. I'm gonna do it anyway. Or he could just kill me before it happens. That's also an option. That was also in the cards. It turns out. Speaking of the cards, not Yu-Gi-Oh related, but
not the heart of them.
Then what's the point? but Inscription comes out to PlayStation next week. Are you gonna
I've heard really good things about that.
I've heard really, really good things about Inscription, which I'm gonna pick it up day one.
I'll see. That's actually one of those games I also think about. Of like, you come to PS Plus, I'm on that shit.
Wow, that shit. I think some of these new Pokemon are kind of monsters.
Yeah, come on, John.
They're kind of like pocket monsters.
Oh, not digital ones?
So, can I share something with you about the new Digimon game?
Never.
Okay, never mind then. Sorry, I didn't mean to be
It's not like this thing started off as a Digimon channel. Nope, no siree. That's not what people are here for. They're not here to talk about Digimon.
So, in Digimon Survive, the whole like thing is that it's more of like, could Digimon exist if like in like an alternate world, but without like technology causing them? If that makes sense. Like they've just always been around, but technology is how they like manifest. It's supposed to be like the like lore. But because of that, when they go over to this, like, they go over to the what we know as the digital world, they keep calling them like monsters, and I'm like, they have a name. They've had a name for 20 plus years. Put some fucking respect on it. Like, what are we doing? Finally, at the end of this is a spoiler. At the end of one of the endings, they like talk about how they might like manifest, and they're like, oh, so they're like so they're not just monsters. They're like digital monsters. And I was like, he fucking said it. Let's go! Way too fucking hyped for something that doesn't matter. And I was like, fucking finally. I felt like I was taking crazy pills. Because I was like, I know what they are. You know what they are. But nobody will fucking say what they are.
I love when motherfuckers be saying the titles of things in the thing that I'm watching.
It depends where it is. Because it's
like... The worse, the better.
The worse, the better is pretty good. But it was like, this one, it was like at the very... I'm talking like 99% of the way through the like run. And I was like, okay. Right at the end, that's fair. But like, it's when they do it like 30 minutes into the movie where you're like, come on, you didn't earn this yet. Like, I love the. I think I know what you're gonna get to. I love the parody ones.
Yes.
Where it's like, or it'll be like 30 minutes in, it'll be like, I guess this is where the Batman begins. Like, yeah, my favorite line from the movie. Yeah. Those are so good, and especially the longer the title, the better.
Yeah.
Where they're like, or no, what's the other version? The I don't care about Doctor Strange. I had my own multiverse of madness every time I put the key in the door. Like those fucking tweets. Our humor is so fucking warped at this point, by the way.
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
Incomprehensible.
I'm thinking of like if they made Assassin's Creed, like actually no, they did make Assassin's Creed a movie. I'm like thinking of like the worst kind of joke of like a bunch of dudes in a room like going, "This is our creed, our Assassin's Creed."
There's like a certain level of camp where you can get away with it too. That's the funny part, because I'm like, if you if you because if it's like something like corny, where it's like
Or if you play too straight.
yeah, it's like but like it's almost like a wink at the camera, which I think is fine.
Yeah.
Like if, like you know who I think get away with it? I don't. Did you see this movie by the way? Thor: Love and Thunder.
No, I haven't seen it. I'm waiting until Disney Plus.
It would be like if they, if you like if Thor, like an hour in the movie was like a little bit of Love and Thunder and like stared at the camera. I'd be like, they can get away with it, right? Probably.
Yeah,
That's tongue in cheek. But if they're like, this is all we have left is Love and Thunder, and I'm like, no. I have to leave some Pokemon. I almost said Digimon. I've recorded 51 videos for this new game. I finally finished it, but I'm like, it's my fucking brain. It's just like I can't go back and forth anymore. I'm gonna yeah, I'm gonna put the A team in. We'll put the B squad out. John did really earn his keep though. I'll give him props.
John boy.
I gotta look up a guide, so give me a second. But yeah.
Right.
What
I'll vamp.
Yeah, every time you say "I'll vamp," you just go completely silent, and I'm thinking you do it on purpose at this point. Like it's it's like it didn't start that way, but now it's like a running joke. Like,
what else happened since we last spoke to each other? It was really fucking hot in New York.
It was really hot here too.
It was so hot I bought a second AC.
Oof. Oh wait, you were arguing about that, weren't you?
Yes, I got into a huge argument with the love of my life.
I was gonna say this is not an easy purchase.
No, it wasn't. This was a political battle for the last 2 years in my apartment.
Jesus Christ!
It has been. I've been culturing this idea.
I opened up a can of worms here.
I workshopped it with my father. That's how bad this.
You two are
argument
never
was.
on the same side. That's not a good sign. Like,
I literally was like, "You're an engineer, Dad. What would be the best way to cool this apartment?" So, like, for those who obviously don't know, because I've never had any of you in my home, I live
me,
in
by the way.
a wonderful thing in a New York City thing. I don't know if it's done in other cities, but I know it's done in New York often. I live in a railroad apartment, so it's pretty much my entire apartment's in a straight line.
I stayed in a hotel room like that once.
Yeah, so where my bedroom is, there's big windows, so we have like an AC unit there.
Ah, fucking big window at it again.
Yeah, big window stepping in to keep the block. But anyway,
Jesus.
so it's a big room, so like it takes the AC like a while to cool that down. And my living room is like next to the kitchen, but the kitchen has a tiny little window that you can't fit a regular AC in. So my idea was always like, oh, it's a long window, so I was like, we get a portable AC. I put that thing right there. It blocks off the sink, so the fuck what? But it'll be finally cool in the living room because like since there's such poor ventilation in the living room, it just gets so fucking hot there that like in the summer you gotta have like 2 fans blowing on you and like the AC from the other room being pulled in to feel something. So I was like, okay, Juliana, like it's gonna be 90 degrees. Maybe we should think about getting a portable AC unit. And she's just like, no, it's big, it's ugly. I won't have it in my house.
That's the thing that I get hung up on, is that
despite
the practical uses for it, because this is how you brought it up to me. Despite the practical uses, she was like, "It looks ugly," and I was like, "What?" I couldn't imagine that factoring into something like an AC for me. Like, imagine doing that in the winter. Yeah, I know it's 30 degrees in the apartment, but the heater looks so ugly. I'm like, what? No. All right, continue.
So she also had gone to California, so it was me and the dog was getting so hot in the apartment, like she literally got diarrhea from it. Because like every time she'd eat, she'd feel queasy because she wasn't drinking enough.
We've all been there.
Yeah, and so I was like, I need to get this temperature of this fucking apartment down by any means necessary, nigga. Any means necessary.
Why are you saying it like that? I don't think you actually mean any means. Like,
I literally.
It's not
was
like you killed a man to do this. Like, you bought an AC.
I'm gonna spend money. And so, but I was telling my dad, I was like, it's so hot. what can I do? And he's like, you should buy that portable AC. And I was like, you know what? I should. So we were talking about it. He was like, this is what you should look at, yada, yada, yada. So I come to the conclusion, I'm like, I'm buying a portable AC. It's too hot in this fucking apartment. It's like 99 degrees up in that bitch. I'm sweating just looking at the TV. I can't move. The dog's looking at me like I did this shit to her. So I was like, all right, Juliana. I sent her a link to a couple of them. I'm like, I'm buying one of these. Which one is it? And she goes, no.
She just says no?
She just said no. Just said no.
Is that legal? Are you allowed to do that? Can you end an argument like that? So is that allowed?
I was about to throw my phone. So I call her and I'm like, what do you mean no? And she's like, no, it's big, it's ugly. Just set out the heat. It'll break eventually. And I'm like,
what?
Eventually.
What an insane premise, though. What? Just sit out the heat. It's 2022. What do you mean sit out the heat? We're not fucking pilgrims. Like,
also, I was like, I make enough money. I can afford this. And she's like, the power bill. And I'm like, don't worry. We won't go homeless.
It's just so,
and then she gave me like
so wild. Do you think she was raised that way? Was she raised in a heavily? Was she raised in a everyone else has it set to 68? Her family has it set to 72 households. Like
no. I know what it is about Juliana. Cares about the aesthetic of everything, like more important than anything. Like if I could find a prettier way to display the video game consoles, I would be able to have more video game consoles. But because the PlayStation is so big, she's just like, nah, shut this whole thing down. Too many of these consoles on the media console gonna make this look ugly.
That is actually insane. Well, I have a similar thing, which is if any viewers have seen my webcam footage and seen my wall of posters, for years people gave me shit about having posters on my walls and stuff like that, because there were like, you know, a couple here and there. But you turn into a wall of posters and suddenly everyone's like, wow, that looks pretty cool. I'm like, where the fuck were you? What do you mean now it looks cool? You dissented against this. I don't think it's a one-to-one comparison, but I had that built up, so sorry, I had to let that go.
I always forget in your apartment every time I go in there. I'm always just like, damn, you got mad posters. Like, what are you? And it's only in this corner. What is that even for? And then I watch your streams and I'm like, oh, that's what that looks like.
It's not only in that corner. I have a couple like separated like everywhere else, but yes, they are very concentrated in that corner. And like it's, I guess I use the excuse that way though, or I'm like, yeah, it's for work. Like it's, I don't know, like what do you want from me? Because like because it's not just for like the streams. Like also, it's like I have to get on Zoom calls at the video game company that I work at, and people are like, oh yeah, that guy knows his shit. He got a lot of posters. Like it's.
I did realize one faux pas that I've committed when my family visits, and they really don't like it, is that I don't have a single photo of anyone I'm related to in this house.
I don't have a single photo hanging or owned or printed anywhere. So I definitely agree with you there. Do you think that's a generational thing?
No, because Juliana got all these fucking people in this house.
Yeah, but I mean, if she's cared about the aesthetic, I would say that Juliana is an old soul in some aspects.
True. She also is a photographer, so.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, you know, I think that she might be the exception. just thinking about it.
No, but my sister got mad photos. Like I'm all over my sister's apartment.
All right, Carlos.
But also, I'm like,
what's he gonna turn into?
He gonna get two tails.
Two tails.
Two tails.
That's your only.
Or a gorilla, like a gorilla.
He's gonna look like a gorilla with two tails. Gorillas, famous for their two tails.
Exactly, famous.
Yeah. Okay. I love that you hate when we have to take these breaks where you have to pay attention to the game for 5 seconds.
No, I don't. I don't hate shit. I love it. What the fuck?
He's still a monkey.
I don't like the way you said that.
He was a monkey and he still is. What? Like
you say it like Frieza says it.
Oh, no. I get that reference now. No, like you can't do this.
I love how they had a whole like space races.
They have a space racist, space Hitler. Super comes back 15, 25 years later and is like, hey, you know who we should bring back You know who we can redeem a little bit.
Fan favorite.
Yeah, fan favorite. Maybe we should investigate why he's the fan favorite. Nah, I don't look too deeply into it. Just Frieza, the space racist.
I mean, to defend the now
To defend the space racist? Yeah, go ahead.
No,
Go off.
why people like Frieza so much is, to me, Frieza is like the point right where it kind of gets really fucking stupid with how powerful the characters get.
Oh, you mean where they just like first of all, having read all of it back to back to back, I can tell you that it was stupid from the start. It was like,
no, but like
the second he fights what's his name? Taipei, the assassin. Tien.
Oh no.
The I forget his name. He flies on. He throws a pillar and jumps on it. That's how he like moves.
Oh yes, that nigga. Yeah, okay.
That dude beats the shit out of little Goku, and then Goku's like, "All right, gotta go train with a fucking space cat." And it's just like from that moment, it's like nope. And they do that every single time. Carlos, I read this series over the course of like 6 months, from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z to Dragon Ball Super. I'm like halfway through. It's just over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Of just like
you're right.
But don't get me wrong. No. That being said, it is enjoyable. Like it's just if people who are like, oh, the plot's really gone downhill, I'm always like, you're wrong. Objectively, you're wrong. It's been trash from the start. You don't watch Dragon Ball for the fucking plot. Like, what are you talking about?
Here for people to throw hands, but my thing was always like, after Cell, right? He regenerates, and then at that point, I was just like, okay, we've kind of seen it all, and then you get Majin Buu, who then becomes gas and then reforms himself, and then I'm like, all right, we're done here.
It's funny that people seem to think that Buu was like the turning point. I'm like, Buu is exactly like every other arc. What the fuck are these people talking about?
I think also there's a difference in the way you read it.
Yes.
So I
read the series. So that's the other thing too, is like specifically I avoided all of the filler because I was like, I'm not going to subject myself to that. I have standards. Like I would hate myself if I had to fucking go. Imagine a new Dragon Ball episode weekly, and they just stand around yelling at each other for half an hour, and then they go next time, and they hint that there might be a battle next time, and it's just the same shit for 4 weeks in a row. Can you explain the Spirit Bomb for me?
What do you mean?
What was it against Frieza? No. Was it against Buu?
No, he uses it first. Really, that's one. Is like I think he uses not against Raditz. No, against Vegeta. He learns it from King Kai. So when he first dies at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z,
which is a wild statement in itself.
Yeah. Spoilers.
When he first that's such a packed sentence. Hold on, let's break that down bit by bit, because this isn't on you, by the way. This is 100% on Dragon Ball. But it's like when he first dies. So that's already, we're off to a great start, a great expectation. When he first dies at the start of Dragon Ball Z,
that shit must have been fucking wild. It's like, oh, everyone, Dragon Ball finishes up, and then we're like, oh, cool, let's stay on for the next season.
And now it's like, oh, he's gonna team up with Piccolo, whoa, and there's other people like him, whoa, oh, he's dead. Fucking took a shot to the heart.
But when he first dies, he goes down Snake Way, and then he meets King Kai, and King Kai's like, "Hey, you can harvest this planet's energy," which it's kind of weird, man. But it's like,
so they call him King Kai in the dub, because I think in the manga, I think he was called the Lord of Worlds.
Oh yeah.
Or no, because the Lord of Worlds thing gets complicated, because there's like Lord of Worlds, Lord of Gods, Lords of there's like King. Yeah, there's like a bunch of different ones, but they call him one of those. Yeah. By the way, at first I was like, wow, Toriyama is like a really bad writer, but then I was like, No, this is clearly on purpose. This is him just like doubling, tripling, quadrupling, quintupling down, and just being like, it's fine. It's like, but like just like in the funniest way possible. It's like I went from being like, wow, he really can't write, to be like, oh no, he's fully aware of what he's doing. Like,
also, he's a little like, it's funnier to think about. To him, he's not doing it. Not to say like kind of One Piece and Naruto change, but like to him, he's just like, fuck it. Cash that check. Y'all still reading this shit? Why change? I don't like. We're having fun here. Where I feel like anime after that very much came in with the idea of let's not power creep too much, and also like we have to merchandise this right.
He 100% ruined power creeping for an entire industry. Like he single-handedly made it so it's like, okay, well we can't do what Dragon Ball did because like they know it doesn't work. Like, it's not sustainable. They were the only ones who could do it because they were the first to do it. And if anyone else tries it, you can be like, okay, this is just Dragon Ball. So, like, you can't... It's just...
I mean, that hasn't stopped a lot of shonen.
No, you're right. But, so now the big thing is, like, you need to tease, like, a bigger arc or, like, a bigger purpose. Whereas, like, Dragon Ball is 100% built, like, arc to arc. It is, there's no grand story unfolding here. Like, it's fully, like, in the moment.
He's just like, what did I come up with for this month? All right, we'll figure it out from there.
Like, he probably knows a couple chapters ahead of time. He definitely did not plan the entire story. There's no fucking way. Because he constantly retcons himself. Like,
yeah, he's not even keeping it straight. But I think that's also, like, the fun part of it is, like...
No, I agree. It's like he is a really good character writer. Like, he makes you care about all these characters, even the ones who really could have been left behind a while ago. Maybe, like, 10 years ago. Like...
Why you got beef with Yamcha like that?
Yamcha has been left behind at this point. It's like TN at this point. Where I'm like, why are they still dragging him? Or like the Roshi. I'm just like, what are we doing? Roshi and Krillin don't need to be here anymore. Like, you can have them hang out. Don't pretend they're gonna fight. Like, it's not. What are they gonna do?
I remember when I was growing up, because I started with Dragon Ball Z like so many other Americans, and always being like, "What's Krillin's purpose here?" Because like, if you don't watch Dragon Ball or don't read it, you're just like, this short dude is a waste of space.
I mean, I gotta be honest. Even if you read Dragon Ball or watched Dragon Ball, it's kind of like, this short dude is a waste of space. He's not doing much.
I mean,
he's banging androids, and he apparently there's this only exists in the anime. What's her name? Is it Marin?
The baby?
No, not the baby. That's the weird part. Is that I was reading up on this, and I guess that it's a pun because Marin is another type of like another type of nut, which is what Krillin is based on. So that when they originally made this like what's essentially a bustier Bulma knockoff, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
When they made her in the filler, they made that pun, but then later when he went to name Krillin's kid, Toriyama made the same pun, so they ended up using the same name, and it's very confusing. Oh god. But yeah, Krillin's only job in Dragon Ball is to just apparently bang the hottest people in the series, I guess, right? That's his one goal.
Yeah, that's the only thing he's useful for. I remember. Nah, that's too much on the pod.
What?
First seeing 18, I was like, that's what I like. And then being like, oh, she's a maniac. And I was like, that's not what I like. That's not what I like. So but I remember being like, it's fucked up that they're gonna have to beat this woman's ass. It's real fucked up. I don't like violence against women. Young me was very.
I was just gonna say, is this a lot of like discovering a lot about yourself here? Like,
yes.
So can I tell you something that's different with the manga that I don't think a lot of people knew? I don't know how the anime does it. Did the anime show Future Trunks getting the shit beat out of him by the androids? Like a lot.
So they made that. They show that into a movie.
Okay, that tracks. So what did the androids do in the series?
Oh, they just come out the cut and start killing everybody.
So that's the weird thing.
Like regular people.
Because like in the manga, they kill like maybe like a group of people like twice. And like 17 and 18 are both like, you know, we're going to try and find Goku. And then 16 is just silently looking like the Chrono Trigger guy. But like they really don't do anything, and then Piccolo discovers Cell, and then they fight Cell for like a second, and then Cell absorbs them. Like they're very little in the manga. They're like barely in it.
Oh yeah, they are around for.
They come back. They come back later in like cameos, or like they come back in Super more, but like they're like barely in Z at all. Like they're there for maybe 20 chapters. Like
no, they're there for a while. Well, also because like they stretch out the.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But like I think that's to its credit of them. Like, okay, dog, we gonna have to add to the source material. Let's characterize these villains more.
Yeah, that works out.
Because that honestly makes them like you get a couple episodes with just them murdering people and all the Z fighters being like, oh shit, Goku's heart, what the fuck are we gonna do?
Oh, so that's the thing too, is that Goku's thing happens like in one chapter, and they're like, all right, go give him the medicine that Trunks gave him. And like he just fucks off for a couple chapters. That's it. It's not like they're not like, oh my god, what's gonna happen to Goku? They're like, oh, he should have fucked medicine. Like, what is he doing? Like. Because just to clarify, in the anime, Trunks gives the medicine to Goku like immediately, right?
Yeah.
And then Goku just doesn't take it because he's like, oh, I wasn't sick. It's just the stupidest fucking.
But I mean, I guess it got like maybe in the instructions is like, all right, take after feeling effects, you know?
Maybe, yeah. But
who knows? I'm not a doctor. Don't take medical advice from Carlos.
Take medical advice from Carlos. It really can't go wrong. I forget how we got started on this though, But yeah, it was
Spirit Bomb. You started talking about Spirit Bomb.
Yes. So the thing I keep hearing that like when he fought Frieza with it, he had to charge it for like 4 episodes, like literally 4 episodes.
Yes.
That didn't happen. That was.
Oh no, not actually. No, it's not that bad. It's actually like because the way it sounds in the show, it's really only like 2 episodes, and it's like the second half, like the bottom 15 of one, and then the top of the other 15. And most of it, he's still doing shit. There's still animation other than I'm holding my hands up. And
yeah. So in this, it was. I think the way it worked is he starts charging it, and it's like not enough power, and then Vegeta is basically just like, yeah, why don't you take it from these humans that you've saved dozens of times? Maybe they fucking owe you. And I was like, that's actually the baddest thing that Vegeta's done. Like, that's pretty hard. Like, it's like, why don't they fucking pay you back for saving their ass? And like, he's got some strong points, some strong arguments here. Like, but it didn't last that long. I think it was maybe like 3 chapters tops.
Out to the Spirit Bomb, man.
Just a very weird series. Who did he use that against again? Was it Frieza?
He done used it so many times, and that shit.
Well, that's the thing. It's like he used it like once.
He uses it
in the manga. He uses it exactly once, and it's that first time. So
no,
like
he uses it on Vegeta.
He didn't. He didn't use it on Vegeta. I don't think he used a different attack on Vegeta.
Oh no, I'm getting that confused.
I'm thinking of like the big like hands above the head like charge up like this big giant ball of energy.
He hits Majin Buu with it, and he hits.
That's what it was.
Vegeta. I mean Frieza.
So I don't think he hit Frieza with it. Frieza was when he first went to Super Saiyan, and that was enough to like destroy Frieza. But he does hit Majin Buu with it. That's like how they end Dragon Ball Z essentially. Except, well, except
they hit the bad part.
Well, there's a weird thing with Majin Buu that Super kind of erased, and it's the only thing that Super retconned from Z I can think of. Well, there's a couple things, but at the end of Dragon Ball Z, they do the Tournament of Power again, or the Tournament of whatever, of Heaven and Earth, whatever it's called, because they have to.
No idea.
And Goku fights like the reincarnated spirit of Buu, who's now like a 10-year-old like brown child,
brown brother,
the first brown child in the series, seemingly. And Goku like figures out who he is, and he goes, "Okay, I'm gonna go train this kid. See you guys." And he like literally says, "See ya, Chi-Chi." And I'm like, that's a really bad look. Like a really, really bad look. Like you can't just abduct a kid. Like
nah, I'm with it.
Like, but then in Super, they act like Goku's like, oh yeah, like I guess Boo's energy went somewhere, right? And they like find that kid later, and they help when they take out what's that dude's name? Maro. He helps take out like the goat looking dude.
Oh yeah.
Where they basically like uses energy, but like Goku had never met him, so it's just like it's just very strange. Where it's like, oh, so we're just not going to talk about Goku abducting that child. Okay.
What's funnier
probably
is
for the
you didn't
best.
see, you didn't watch GT.
No, so I've heard GT is like all about him, right?
So he not really, but he like plays a little part in the beginning, and then, well, GT's insane. It's one of the weirdest.
I have no intention of watching. Even as a kid, I remember when GT.
What do you know about GT?
I know a few things about GT. I know that when GT first came out, people were like, "This is dog shit," and they were like, they specifically didn't like it. And I know it introduced Super Saiyan 4, which
that is now no longer canon.
yeah, which no longer exists. Which like leaned into the monkey part, which like.
Yes.
Which Toriyama had done his best to make people forget about, like just to forget that Saiyans can turn into monkeys at one point.
Honestly, so I go two ways with it. I kind of love the monkey bit. I know that's not problematic. So like,
it wasn't until you said
GT
it.
GT was cool because they had like they create the black Dragon Balls, and like the whole crux of the show was. You have to, once you wish on those Dragon Balls, they're like the evil version of the other Dragon Balls. They create, you have 1 year to bring all those Dragon Balls back to the same planet, or else that planet explodes. So like, each episode was like them.
So kind of get them going back to their roots of trying to find the Dragon Balls, which they have not had to do in quite some time.
Also limit the shit of like, okay, we now don't have to necessarily like power creep, because Goku's back to a child. And so it's like, oh,
well,
he's like,
wait, what? Oh, is that it? They wish Goku back as a child? That was part of it?
yes.
Which is, that's a choice.
It certainly, I didn't know why, and then it was like he hangs out with his granddaughter and Trunks.
That's weird.
And Trunks is a teen now, and I was just like, why doesn't Goten come along? And I guess I was like, now this is clearly like the marketing team of like, what are the other people that people liked in Dragon Ball?
So he hung out with, hold on.
With Trunks?
But not his own son?
No, yeah, I was just like...
Because, like, in the manga, Trunks and Goten are, like, you know, they're pretty close. They're, like, they're like a year apart. Yeah. I can't imagine just, like, ignoring Goten.
I think they wrote him off as, like, he was trying to score a chick. And he was just, like, really into women. And that was, like, the thing.
That's so weird. That's so weird. Oh my god. And then, like, so I've seen what Super Saiyan 4 looks like just from osmosis, because, like, Dragon Ball's giant, and if you, like, watch any anime, like, you're gonna see some of this stuff. So, like, I've seen it's, like, he has, like, yellow pants and, like, a pink shirt, and it's, like, black hair.
Yeah. No, it's not shirt, that's fur.
Ah, that's worse. You see how that's worse, right? Like,
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
And because he's a kid again, he gets his tail back.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And he can't go Super Saiyan 3.
But he can go 1 and 2, okay?
Yeah, that was
just
the thing. So
arbitrary limits of, like...
1 and 2 is fine, but if he hits 3, his youthful body can't hold it for long.
Oh,
it puts too much of a strain.
Here's a fun thing about Super Saiyan 3 that I think is different in the manga. And Super Saiyan 3 in the manga never gets a shine. Not once.
Oh, no, not even in the show it doesn't get to shine.
Oh, okay. Because basically, future Trunks figures out how to get it, tries to use it against Cell, and then immediately is like, oh, I'm too slow. Like...
Oh, yeah.
And, so, like, it never even, like, shines. And then Goku can do it, and he says he probably could... They admit later, he's like, I probably could have beat Boo when I did it, but I wanted to let Gohan do it instead before, you know, they retconned all of that again. There's a lot going on with that series. There's a lot.
I also hate how dirty they do my dude Gohan.
Yeah, so I found out about this, where it's like, apparently, so at first, I think like most people, when I saw that they were trying to pass the torch to Gohan, I was like, oh, I mean, what the hell? Like, do we have to do this? But then...
You're like, is this Red Dead again?
Yeah, but then, like a normal person, I got attached to Gohan. I was like, no, he's pretty cool. I like how he's different than Goku. I think it's weird how they keep trying to frame him as, like, trying to be like a smart person. I've never seen this man strategize. Like, he just fights the same as everyone else does, just fucking fist first. They changed
Not
that.
even that.
They changed that later to an extent, but I'm just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck, like. But you know, I liked Gohan, and I like, and if they were like trying to see Gohan succeed and stuff, I was like, that's great, do that. I'm happy to see that. But it was this weird, like, they sidelined him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I found out it's because, like, oh well, people really liked Goku and Vegeta, so they didn't want it to hand it off to Gohan. And I was like, so anime fans ruined something again. Gotcha. Like, par for the course. Like,
that was one of those times I feel like the marketing team came in and was like, "Motherfucker, we will string you up on that pole out there. We do not care. We do not care. Put that Goku motherfucker back in these books."
Yeah, I liked him. So that's the thing is, like, I was going to talk about this earlier, where every time I see like Krillin, Tien, Chow, whatever, Yamcha, I'm like, what are we doing? Or Master Roshi, I'm like, what are we doing here? Who's this for? For someone who's never seen Dragon Ball and just happens to be tuning in, like, what is this? Because you and I both know none of these characters can take on the big leaguers here, and they finally, in what is the Frieza movie? I can't remember what it's called. They were like, what if we gave fodder characters and had them fight those? It's like, oh, something every other shonen show does? Wow. Way ahead of your time, Dragon Ball. Like crazy that you finally figured out that you cracked the code. That if you have more than one singular villain per arc, then you can make your characters do something. But yeah, so like, it's weird because the way it works for Dragon Ball, where I'm like, okay, well, they're not going to do anything, but these other characters might. Like, it's like, as like Gohan or Piccolo can hold their own. Yeah. Like, usually for a little bit before, like, they arbitrarily decide that they can't anymore. But it was just like, I thought it was so weird.
Actually, yeah, that's why people like the Frieza arc so much. It's the last time Piccolo looks strong. Like,
well, supposedly this movie that literally came out today, by the way, time of recording, just dating our recording. Apparently, this movie is supposed to do good things for Gohan and Piccolo. I really want to see it. I think in the theaters it was only playing in English, and I wanted to watch in Japanese, so I'm waiting.
No, I gotta watch. I actually gotta watch a lot of the Super movies. I love, like, even though they're not canon, I do love a good Dragon Ball movie. I think
the Super movies are canon, aren't they?
The Super movies, most of them are. It's just more of the Z movies. None of them are. Yeah, not other than Future Trunks is the only canon one.
Well, because it just basically just like gives backstory and what happened.
Yeah,
that's an easy
really
that's an easy like vacuum where you can like do a movie.
Yeah, where when they first came up with the character Broly, they were like, "This is sometimes right after Cell, but Goku's alive somehow."
Do you know who voiced the new Broly?
Who?
Vic Manamana, the guy who voiced Edward
Elric.
Allegations? Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. A lot of fairly credible ones. Like,
great.
So like when I like was gonna like look up the English cast, I was like, maybe I'll watch this one in Japanese. Like, but
fuck.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Even when I go back and watch Full Metal, I always watch Japanese now. That being said, I watch it in Japanese because I watched it on a whim one time in Japanese, and I was like, holy shit, some of these moments like hit way harder in the Japanese dub. Not to say Full Metal Alchemist, no, just be clear. Full Metal Alchemist, probably more than most other anime, has one of the best dubs of all time. But I recognize a lot of the voice actors in the Japanese version, and I kind of like their the way they do it. So, not saying one is worse than the others. There's like one moment in particular, and I'm going to spoil it here. You watched Brotherhood, right?
Yeah.
Remember when they get sucked into Gluttony's stomach, and then like when they escape, Ed sees like Al's body on the way out?
Yeah.
And like they fake you out, and you think the episode's going to end with him, and then he fucking bursts through the door. They start playing that super sad song, and he's like calling out to him. The Japanese delivery is way better than the English one, and it's like stuck in my head where I can like hear the Japanese version, so it's like hard to watch the English version now. All right, what do you think this guy's gonna turn into?
He's gonna get a second horn.
That's it? Same size, just one second horn? Why are all of your guesses that it's gonna be a second something?
Because I'm always like, what's the most identifying feature? There's gonna be two of that. Because then there's gonna be a third one when they get a third one.
You are wrong. That's not his most identifying feature. Boom, 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 boom.
He's gonna get third diamond
No. What do you mean third?
because he got 2 diamonds on him.
There you go.
The fuck?
You got a lot more ones, actually.
Into Pupitar?
Yeah. It's basically like a pupil stage. He does have a third form. All right, I'm gonna try and get to this this next town, and then we can probably wrap up.
All right.
What
Anime.
What more?
I love it.
What more do you have to say about Dragon Ball? Because it's really interesting hearing the differences.
I mean, I'm trying to think of.
Have you? You haven't played Kakarot, right?
No. I used to play a lot of the games actually though.
You don't have any
But I
interest
never
in this
played
one? It's supposed to be like a single player. Like it's not a fighting
Nah.
one.
Is the thing with me in Dragon Ball games is once you've played like 5 of them, you've played all of them, and you're just kind of refining it, like it's too much. As well as I'm like, dog, I'm never gonna get back the summer of 2006. I need to get that up.
I tried Kakarot. I played did a video in it. And I played like the first hour or so. And I was like, this is pretty cool. It basically takes place right at the start of Z. And I'm like, at this point, as weird as it sounds, I'm like, that's pretty far back for me. Like, because I'm already like caught up in like halfway through Super and stuff. But I don't know. It's not bad.
Super is also interesting to me, mostly because I'm like, it's every other arc for me. With Super, like there's some arcs I'm like, I did not care about that, and then there's some arcs where I'm like, ooh, you're cooking with that Dragon Ball grease again.
So this is the interesting thing, because I've heard mixed things about Super. I've heard a couple people say that Super like hasn't missed, and every single arc in Super has been good. I got to be honest, I kind of agree with that. Like at least reading it, I think Super's quality is probably better than Z or Dragon Ball. Just,
oh no, I can see that.
Just like it just feels like it's more like coherent, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like that he does a better job with Super of.
Well, so someone told me that I guess in Super he just provides the concepts, and he has like he like picked someone who like was like an editor or something, and he's the one who's like actually like writing out the stuff at this point. Like he gives the broad strokes, and then they write out the details. But the
George Lucas.
Yeah. Well, the other interesting thing is I think that this Super more than any other Dragon Ball has like the anime specifically does different things. Like the anime and the manga are completely different for it. Where you can do both and get like not two completely different stories. Like again, broad strokes, but like the execution is different.
I should check that out.
There's not that many chapters of Super. You could read through it probably in like a weekend. Like with like 2 hours of reading a day. Like it's not a lot. I gotta watch
4 hours.
I gotta watch the Broly movie though.
Okay, maybe we should do a let's watch.
We can't do this anymore. We did that when YouTube was a lawless wasteland.
Oh my god, bring back that. That's honestly trying to explain to Juliana, who's never really big into YouTube, of like back in 05, 06.
There was a time
you
on
could
YouTube
put anything up here.
You could literally put anything on that website, and nobody would stop you. It's like I remember watching Naruto for the first time just on YouTube. People just upload episodes on YouTube,
Yeah.
like.
And they would do it in 3 parts because, like,
yes, they would, because the max upload was like, it was like 10 minutes or something like that, yeah. And then finally, I remember they started uploading full episodes, and it's like, holy shit! You just watched the whole thing in one video.
Yeah, that was a game changer.
And that was also like this. It's death gurgle because it was like YouTube was like, all right, we're getting a lot of lawsuits. We're gonna need you to calm down.
Them copyright niggas was like, cut it out now.
These lawyers are vicious.
That was
Carlos. Carlos, your audio cut out. All right, well. Hey, YouTube, it's just me and you. Carlos apparently passed away. Hoping the best for him. I hope I'm in the will. I hope he left all of his riches to me. Because I honestly think I deserve them. Probably more than Juliana. But I would never tell that to him while he was in the video, of course. My favorite thing about him is that whatever he did to break this, He's not contacting me in text or in Discord to tell me that it's broken. He's just sort of letting me rock with it. Welcome back to Let's Play Pokemon Diamond with just Nick. And only Nick.
Sorry about that. I think my internet just fucking crashed.
Okay, there you go. He's back.
They didn't want me to spread the truth about the beauty of the internet. They're like, cut that out.
Yeah, actually. I remember, this is how crazy it was. I remember when Naruto Shippuden, which is basically the Dragon Ball Z to Naruto, which is actually an accurate way of describing that. But I remember when that came out, I watched the entire premiere, which is like a full 47 minutes, on YouTube. Not only did I watch it on YouTube, I had it on my laptop, and YouTube just buffered the entire video, and I went home from my dad's house to my house and watched the entire video in the car without an internet connection. You know how wild that sounds now?
I used to do that shit too.
Can you imagine the different worlds?
These kids don't understand what it was like to have a bad internet connection.
No.
To to literally be like, oh, let me pause this movie, go do something for 40 minutes.
Yeah, because you had to wait for it to buffer ahead of time.
She was, man, that shit.
It was the dark ages.
It was the dark ages. But get rid of copyright, man. The internet was so much more fun when you could upload.
Oh yeah, that's all. Just get rid of copyright. it's so easy. Just do it.
That's not my money. Just do it. Do it for the people. Do it for the Carloses.
What I think is funny is every time a new app comes up, that it's just a lawless wasteland for copyright. And sometimes not even a new app. Like, the amount of weird shit I see on Facebook of Family Guy reels, I'm like, how the fuck did this get past the censors? They flag me on YouTube if I put 5 seconds of copyrighted stuff, and they can get away with a fucking 30-second clip of Family Guy? What the fuck?
I literally think sometimes with that shit is that's their marketing team to oh, we'll just splice in our own clips.
Well, because
that will get people
always,
to get interested.
Well, because there's two versions. There's the normal full size view like you'd expect, and then there's the ones where it's they have above and below it. It's follow for more content. It's got a galaxy background.
Oh,
it's got some real cringy shit. I'm just like, what? You're gonna make a career on fucking TikTok uploading 30-second clips of fucking anime? No.
I'm always just with those people. What do you do? What brought you to this? Well,
so here's the answer. The new version of the kids from our generation who would make the 5-minute AMVs of an anime fight over a Simple Plan song. It's just the new version of that.
Those motherfuckers were great. Those were the best people in the world. If it wasn't for them, I would have never heard of Evanescence.
Well, so it's funny you bring that up because I saw a tweet literally yesterday where it was the 17th anniversary of the song "Every Time We Kiss." It's oh man, so many shipping videos in the 2000s played to this song. The anime community doesn't know how much they owe to this song.
But also, I don't think do the youth know what AMVs are? Do they? Well, I guess they do fan cams, but
they're fan cams now. But I think AMVs were a big thing. I always, to be honest, I hated them because I would always try and look for the actual clip and I'd get a fucking AMV instead. I'm trying to look up a specific fight and I get a badly cut version with just how to save a life. Where did I go wrong?
Oh god, that shit also used to introduce you to the worst metal music you've ever heard. Metal music. I remember reading one comment on the song because I had looked the song up and I was reading the comment, and someone was like, "Oh my god, we used to play this all the time at church camp," and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Metal you can play at church camp. That should tell you everything you need to know.
Or you find out oh, you like this song, and then you look up the band, and oh, they're a Christian rock band. Get that shit out of here.
Ugh.
That also reminds me of fucking watching Call of Duty 4 kill highlights.
Oh my god, the The sniper montages.
Before you learned what a fucking aimbot was.
Do you know who jokes about that constantly? Is Ray Narvaez, or he's like, yeah, put that in your Call of Duty montage. Like, I'm just like,
Oh yeah, Juliana ain't never seen that shit before. She has no idea that shit was blowing. I remember I started playing with the sniper rifle just to try to do that bullshit.
oh yeah, before you knew what aimbots were, or like these people who had essentially figured out like the whole thing of quick scoping, where it's like, okay, well, if I aim exactly this long, it'll automatically zoom in on their head and I can just shoot. Where like as a kid, I was like, wow, they're so fast. I'm like, no, they're just pressing the buttons. Like, the game is broken. Like, that's why they were able to do it. Like, shit was so funny to me. We're old.
Yeah, we're very old.
One of us is at least 3 decades old.
I hate when you bring that shit up. You know, my coworker, one of my subordinates. Yeah, I'm gonna get that kind of classical with it. He was just like, "So, Carlos, you're 30 now. You gonna get married to
one of my subordinates?" All right, Carlos. Okay.
Also, went in the car with that motherfucker because we had to go pick up furniture somewhere. So he was like, because my car's not big enough to fit.
Oh, so you use one of your subordinates to use their car? Yeah, this gets better and better. Good thing you chose to call him a subordinate. This can't backfire anyway.
Nah, I love this man. I love this man so much.
This isn't the one who showed you the video.
No.
Okay.
That's a different guy. Okay. That guy's my actual favorite. My favorite person in the workplace. I have no idea what the fuck he's gonna do. You know, he changed in the office. Like, we were in the office.
How did you not bring this up?
Okay, wait. Let me.
All right, you got some time to tell a story.
Let me paint this picture. We have furnished units in the apartment, so like, but we were behind. Like, we didn't hire enough people to like do the labor of putting all this shit together. So we was like, all right, everyone in the office, wear fucking pajamas and come on, or like workout clothes. Come on in. We're all gonna like put in our hours and just like put this furniture together, right? So I came in like my gym shorts and my t-shirt. I was like, I'm ready to go. But the intern guy had come in like because he had a tour first before he could come help us out. So after he got done with the tour, but I was like, all right, let me bang out some emails. And he's like, oh, Carlos, I'm gonna change. I'm like, okay. Like, we have a locker room there for like the hourly employees as well. I'm like, go to any of the bathrooms in the building or one of the empty apartments and just go there.
And he changed.
Like, no, I'm gonna do it in here. And so he proceeded to get down to his skippies. He was like, Carlos, just don't turn around. I'm like, dog, you know this is sexual harassment? I'm like, you're lucky the girl intern somewhere out of here.
That's really fucking funny, actually. He was like, Carlos will be fine with this. And you're like, no, I'm not fine with this.
I was like, dude. I was also like, what? I was like, the door's not locked, so if someone comes in, it's gonna look weird as fuck for all involved here.
Oh my god, dude. He kind of made you his bitch. He was like, this is happening. Sorry, like.
He was like, you're not getting up to leave, so I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Even when I changed at the office, like I would go to the bathroom to do it, like a normal person.
When it was so hot, I used to bring like shorts and a t-shirt to change out of like my button-ups and shit, just because I was like, I don't want to sweat on the walk to the subway through this shirt again. And like, I'm like, why won't you go to the bathroom? It feels less awkward. The door is locked, so if anyone walks, like, if anyone walks in, you're in the right to be like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, if someone walks into the office, it's gonna look weird that I'm making the intern strip for me and I'm keeping my back to him.
It's just so weird, dude.
Okay. I'm okay. I thought you went mute for a second. But yeah, actually, we're at the final 10 minutes. Let's say our goodbyes.
We're wrapped up. Thank you for another excellent video, Carlos.
Oh yeah.
Anytime. Not anytime. Specifically Thursdays between 6 and 8 p.m. Yeah. And that's it. So.
I feel like this was a banger with my fucking intern. People gotta stay tuned for the intern story.
Yeah, people gotta stay tuned because Carlos likes to backload the fucking content in these videos. So. All right, thank you guys. Goodbye.